and to create their own success stories in whatever I've done, whether it is owning multi-million-dollar businesses, owning a resort in Vanuatu, being a leadership and mindset speaker. I've just finished my 12th book, whatever it is. That's really my focus, is that we do create our own reality. It's just a matter of working out how and then coming to terms with that and realizing that we have power and that we're not a victim.
Hello, Fair Business Australians. My apologies, we had some major technical delays there. We went live to Facebook twice. We were busy chatting away and discussing how to solve the world's problems, only to realise that we were not live to Facebook. So we're doing a pre-recorded live upload later, whatever it looks like. Diane, Dimitri, welcome. Thank you for being my guest. I am so thrilled. We had a very unexpected conversation a few days ago, and I asked if you would come on because when you started revealing all the wealth of experience that you have as a business owner, I thought, you know what? This is amazing stuff. I really want to introduce this to my Fair Business Australians. So Diane, welcome. Tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Diane? Where does she come from? Where does she hail from? What's her experience? The floor or the stage, should I say, is yours. Off you go.
Okay, very quickly, I wiggled my nappy off when I was 2. My parents made an enlightened decision and sent me off to ballet school, and I had a love affair with the entertainment industry for 30 years until I scored the top job in Australia as the assistant director, choreographer, dance captain and dancer at Jupiter's Casino. All my dreams had come true. That does happen, ladies and gentlemen, if you put enough work and effort and time into it. And everything was moving along perfectly. Everything was great. And then my producer wanted to sleep with me and I refused his sexual advances and didn't go down well, of course, when I did that. So he sacked me not too long after for apparently being too fat. I'd grown up watching the MGM movies and I stood for truth, justice and the American way. So off I went with my lovely naivety of 30 years of age back then. And I took him to court. There were no laws to protect people from unfair and discriminatory dismissal back then. The commissioner saw that there were no grounds for my dismissal, that I had not put on any weight. He reinstated me. I went back. The producer sacked me again on sick leave, went back to court again. And the commissioner again found in my favour, but didn't want to reinstate me because he was concerned for my health. So I walked away and lost everything. I got 4 weeks pay in lieu of notice and I lost everything. No one would hire me. I spent 18 months trying to get a job. I even tried for a job as a cleaning lady in a Gold Coast motel. And they said to me, no, you can't have the job because you're too glamorous. So that's what it used to be like, ladies and gentlemen. You got it really good nowadays. So I had an epiphany, an awakening moment and went, okay, why did this happen to me and how can I make sure it never happens again? And then that set me on a journey, a 35-year conscious journey to find out how does life really work, and that in fact, we are all responsible for the reality that we attract into ourselves. Whether we are consciously or unconsciously, that's not the point. We do attract in energetically and we influence everything energetically in our lives. And that journey has given me such great insights. And I went from brokenhearted to living the life of my dreams. And as I say to people, it wasn't necessarily easy at the time, but it was simple. And so ever since that, my mission has been to help people dare to turn their adversity into triumph and to create their own success stories in whatever I've done, whether it is owning multi-million-dollar businesses, owning a resort in Vanuatu, being a leadership and mindset speaker. I've just finished my 12th book, whatever it is. That's really my focus, is that we do create our own reality. It's just a matter of working out how and then coming to terms with that and realizing that we have power and that we're not a victim to anybody for anything. So that's it in a nutshell.
Wow, what a nutshell, folks. Do you see how we can grow an oak tree out of that? This is why I was so thrilled to have Diane on. Diane, clearly you're not a snowflake. You've clearly done your dues. You've done an extreme, like such a width, such a breadth of experience from, hospitality really, which is the entertainment industry, because we tend to double up making people, feel good and all that kind of stuff. So it is hospitality centered right the way through to owning resorts. And yet you say that everything that happens is a result of how we think about our reality. Could you talk a little bit more about that? I mean, you said that you've done 12 books, so clearly you consider yourself pretty well read in the life subject. Could you speak a little bit more about how we're not victims? Because to many business owners right now and to many people right now, it feels like we're really, really, really victims after the last 2 years of lockdowns.
Absolutely, absolutely. So from everything that I've learned and everything that I've read and my experiences, I've nutted it down to 3 things. What we need to have a success path are 3 basic things. The first one is mindset mastery. We must be able to focus our intention. We must have focused intention and we must not waver from that. That's the first thing. So we master our mindset, we shift our human perspective, and we start to expand and use this amazing consciousness that we have. The second thing on the success pathway that we need is aligned action. So we must feel differently. We must master our energy, because we are energetic beings. So we have focused intention, which is mindset mastery. We have energy mastery, which is aligning our actions to that intention and actually energizing our health and personal well-being. And then the third thing is we must have skills mastery. So we must learn the skills, then we must apply the skills. It's no good being all woo-woo and feeling good and everything else, and that's important, unless you've got the action and the skills to back it up. So we have to learn the skills, align the skills, empower ourselves with confidence, certainty, conviction, creativity, all of those things. And then what we've got is a pathway to success. Mindset mastery, energy mastery, skills mastery. You bring those 3 together and boom, you can't help but have success come into your life, because if you pursue it, it will always run faster than you.
And I love that you've got the business experience and the runs on the board to back up what some critics would say is very woo-woo. It's not woo-woo at all. It brings the 3 pillars in very, very well. Now, because we're talking about rebuilding out of COVID and actually future-proofing, that's what Fair Business Australia is all about. We've pivoted out of COVID and now helping businesses to future-proof. I think it would be a bit of a waste of time to go back over the last 2 years and shoulda, coulda, woulda. What would you say with being the master of our own destiny, having those 3 pillars that make up business success, of which you are a walking, talking example of that? What would you say moving forward if or when we have future pandemics or plandemics or whatever people think that are watching on the spectrum today? How can we bring those 3 pillars to ensure business success? How can we keep our mindsets strong? How can we, keep that linear thing happening and duck and weave when we need to as well, when things seem to be outside of our control?
There's a little meme that comes up regularly on Facebook, and I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure your membership base has seen it as well. And that is, in 2 words, what do you wish you had told your younger self to do? And my first response to that, after having lived as long as I have, all these decades on the planet, is I would have told myself to go within. And so what I've found is because of the tumultuous event I went through, I went within to find my answers. And when we go within and we spend time with reflection and meditation and introspection, and we start to develop a relationship with ourselves, with that deep wisdom, and we start to have conscious conversations with ourselves, what we find is that provides us an anchor and a rudder in our lives, because the rest of the world, the external world, will want to distract and disrupt us all the time. So when things are going bad and we're focused out there, we will never make good decisions. We can only make good decisions in our peace by going within. And so what has happened from my point of view, having been here for well over 6 decades now, is that people have lost their anchor. They've lost that rudder. And they're out here and they're trying to make decisions and they're doing bits and pieces and they're scrolling and stop. Because we will never make good decisions in business. We will never be able to find the staff that we want. We will never be able to set up the systems. We will never be able to problem solve because we are too distracted, too disrupted. And what happens is then we switch off our critical thinking, we switch off our common sense, and we switch off our compassion for ourselves and for others. So from my point of view, with all the work I'm doing, it's about that one point, go within, give yourself, even if it's only 5-10 minutes a day, and start to develop that relationship. Also, the other thing I would say is that the last 2.5 years have been an exercise in fear. Absolute fear. And so one of the things I say to people all the time, and one of the things I learned after my event, and I probably was a little bit before that, but that life is a daring adventure. And so we must dare more every moment. We must actually be fearless. If we're frightened about what we say, or we're frightened of somebody else's opinion, or we're scared of this, we will never, ever create a life that is filled with riches on all levels. We must be fearless. We've got to go out there. We've got to stand on the edge. We've got to stand on the brink, and we've got to say, no, I do not agree. No, I do not comply. No. We've learned how to not say no anymore. And so these are some of the things from my point of view that we need to take time on. We've got to look at our values as well. What are values? I do this in my coaching and a lot of my courses is I give people a values list. And you see, most people do their values by, oh, this is my top value and this is my second one. No. Take 20 values, then eliminate the ones you can get rid of that aren't that important, Then see if you can get to the top 5. Then see if you can get to the top 3, because what you're doing is you're saying, I will give up all of these values and this is my top one. And you see, this is so important. Until we go within, do the personal work, get to know what we believe, what our values are, who we are, we will never be able to do or have the things in life we desire most. And that's what my book Dare is about, my memoir, Dare. What I discovered through my event is that we are conditioned and trained to look at what to do so that we can have the bigger house, or we can have this, or we can have that. And we started doing, and I say that the whole world's upside down and back to front. We have to look at who are we being. It's no point saying, oh, well, if I do this, and then when I have the house and I have that and I have the money and I have all those things, then I'll be a better person. No, it doesn't work like that. Who do we have to be in order to do what matters, in order to have what matters? We must be firstly. And that's what my book is about, is giving people the 50 insights of how to be more, how to dare to be more. Because once you dare to be more, then you find opportunities abound, then you start to do more, and you do it with love and enthusiasm and optimism, without doubt. You do it with a fearlessness of spirit. And then all of a sudden, the having starts to reign in, the abundance starts to reign in. And in fact, that's how it works. It just requires the discipline, the determination, the perseverance, the purpose, the passion to go, yes, I'm going to give that a shot. I mean, hey, I could be lying here. It's up to everybody to test and measure, test and measure, test and measure. Don't trust anything. Verify everything.
So good, folks. Wow. So this is a complete curveball for you, Diane, because I wasn't actually going to ask you this question, but Fair Business Australia is all about B2B relationships. Now, I wanted to bring you on, A, to bring some value to the community, B, to talk about that you're going to have your book launch on Saturday, which we'll come to in just a moment, because I would really love some people to come, as many people as possible, to come and meet you, to come and get to know you, because you are on the Gold Coast, you are, you're not going anywhere, and you're going to be there for Gold Coast businesses to help them, which brings me back to my curveball. How do people get in touch with you? What courses do you have right now? Like, I know that it's resonating with some people going, oh my gosh, this woman is my missing link. She's what I need. She's my shortcut. So how can people get in touch with you? How can they work with you? What do they need to do?
They can find me just very easily on dianedemetri.com. That'll go to a landing page, and they'll have 3 pillars that they can choose from, which is professional development, where I do leadership and mindset speaking, coaching for companies, and also one-on-one professional coaching. Then there's Dare to Care, which is my new social initiative, which is all about caring for the community. If they get onto that website, and if they go to the calendar page, they'll see all the different sessions and classes that we're doing that are coming up. And we're doing that at a really, really nominal rate, so that anybody in the community can come along and learn some new skills, learn more about how to improve their personal well-being. And then there's also the personal development. If you want to go further and further within and really start that personal work, then you can jump onto the personal development pillar, which is my master mindset programs. So there's 3 different areas there. So, and then you can call me, my phone number's there. I'm easily contactable, and just email me. I'm here 24/7 nearly in this office.
I don't doubt that, being the business owner that you are. I don't doubt that at all. So tell us tell us the details. We'll obviously put them in the description as well, but tell us all about this book launch. What is it in aid of? I'm assuming it's your social enterprise that you're starting up. Is it for that?
Yes, and this is my 12th book. I started writing a number of years ago. It was just something I wanted to do, and I've written erotic romance and romantic suspense, romantic mystery, and then murder mysteries. I wrote a book during early 2020 to help people get through all of those lockdowns. And then Dare is my memoir, and this is actually the story of from the beginning, but also the big tumultuous event that happened at Jupiter's Casino and how that impacted the rest of my life. And then in here, I wanted it to be a teaching memoir rather than just my story, because that seems very narcissistic, my story. And it does, it's like, oh yeah, right, who cares? But what this is about is the 50 insights that I learned along the way. And so you'll read a little section of my life, and then I use the touchstones of what happened. And then at the end of the chapter, I talk about what it is I learned and how you can actually implement that, if you so choose, in your life, and how to test and measure those results. So that's what Dare is all about. And so it goes for the first 2 chapters, as I say, or the first 2 acts of my life. So from 0 to 30 was the first act, when I got absolutely broken. And my choice at that time was very, very raw. It was either to choose to commit suicide or dare to be more. And that's why the book's called Dare, because I dared to be more. So I understand that terrible, terrible darkness when people get on the brink. And I talk about what pulled me off that brink as well. And so for people who are finding it really tough after these last 2.5 years and they feel broken, I really recommend grab this book, get absorbed in it, and then go, yeah, because you'll find, you'll go, yeah, I feel like that. I felt like that. Oh God, I felt like that. And then all of a sudden you'll see that I know it sounds corny, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But the light that's at the end of the tunnel is our light, not somebody else's light. And once we start to just consider that, just to think that maybe that's true, that's when we start to shift. And once we start that shift, all of a sudden we master our mindset, our energy, and our skills. And then once that momentum starts, boom, we're off. And then you can actually look back and say, oh, I know what that was all about. It was an episode that dared me to think, feel, and act differently to who I was before. So yeah, so that's the book launch. And then this Saturday, I'll talk more about the book, and I'll have lots of photos from my dancing past and everything there. So it'll be quite a lovely, casual, intimate event, and people can ask me questions and nothing's off limits for me. So
wow.
Yes.
And will you be signing copies of your book?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So in the ticket price, everybody will receive a personally autographed copy of the book, plus go into a lucky draw to win one of my other books, my award-winning romantic mystery, Island of Secrets. I loved writing that one. That was great. So
I might ask you where that idea from that one came from, actually. That might be my question on Saturday. Well, I'm so looking forward to seeing the Fair Business Australians that come along. Folks, this is a very, very powerful woman. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We spoke for a solid 2 hours. We tracked very, very cleanly together. And there is a lot more to come from Diane. I can very much assure you she is an absolute wealth, a treasure trove of business, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully having her back on Fair Business Australia again to share some other pearls of wisdom. So you'll see the description, all the links will be there. Look forward to seeing you. Get along to Diane's website as well. I'm sure she has at least some room for new clients, being that she doesn't ever sleep, apparently, even though she looks glamorous every single time I see her. So yeah, we'll see you on Saturday, folks. Do get along. Come and say hello to myself. Come and say hello to Diane. Look forward to learning more about your story and what makes you dare to be different. And we'll see you on Saturday. Diane, thanks so much again for being our guest.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Would you like to be featured on our podcast? We'd love to hear how your business products and services can help rebuild local small businesses and local communities. Jump online today at fairbusinessaustralia.com.au.